everyone. I'm excited to share 10 cards that I put together using gel prints. Now, if you haven't seen the first video, check out the iCard and go see the process for making these backgrounds. So for the first card, I have cut out of chipboard a few times this die that I had in my stash of just a Christmas tree, and it's got some intricate parts. I didn't have any green glitter paper, so I actually used glitter, and my chipboard that I'm cutting out of is adhesive. And so then I do the process of piecing in this, I cut it out again out of gold, and I'm piecing in all the little pieces. And so you see there's some great dimension, a lot of shine, and it really goes with some of the shimmer in my gel prints that had gold. Now I'm using a couple pieces from some Spellbinders kits. It's from the Sparkle and the Joy, or from the October 2020 kit, Dancin Santa. Just extras that I had, and that will finish off my card. And I'm putting down in the bottom right there. So the showpiece is really the gel print, and then a shimmery tree. For the second card, look at that print. Isn't that awesome? And I used to subscribe to a Tonic Studios Craft kit, and this is from the kit number 26. It had, some ornament dies. So here's how I put together this ornament die with the gold, kind of muted gold background, and then the green mirror card. I believe that cardstock also came from the Tonic Studios kit at some point. And then I'm going to pop up this ornament. So any old ornament die or even a hand cut out one would work in this case with this card. That's just the focal image is the ornament, and then the showpiece is the one of a kind artistic gel print background. And so I'm trimming off the edge of my mounting tape here because I wanted to support the top kind of intricate part of that ornament a little more, and then have to take all that backing off and place that kind of a little above because I want room for a sentiment. And then in comes the leftovers from the Spellbinders November 19, 2019, I believe it was Christmas Wishes. And that is where I'm going to use that little sticker Noel. I do not have a lot of word dies, so if you had word dies, then you could go ahead and pick a sentiment that way. But yeah, I was loving the glitter paper in this card. I cut a little strip of the glitter paper for the string of the ornament, and then I'm just going to finish off with a couple star stickers from that same. And I've used most of that sticker sheet, but I still have just a little bit left, and so it makes a great sentiment on this card. For the third card, I have my green card base, and then this is the print, and I'm gonna put that in the center. It's got kind of a wider border on this one, and I have this die, and these I've taken out of the packages, so I do not know the name of that, but I would tell you if I did. And I've got some fun foam that I've put on the back of it. It's probably something I picked up at a discount shop a while ago. And I'm going to place that in the center, and then I have a sentiment. The Joy sentiment came from the November 2019 Christmas Wishes set, but there wasn't any other white in the card, so I've pulled out some distress ink. I believe that was pine needle, and used my little brush to just get rid of the white. I'm brushing on a lovely gold color. And then I popped that up with some thin mounting strips. And then here's a scrap from one of the other gel prints, and I'm going to put that into the gold window there. And I just trimmed off the corner because of the bow there. And I really like how that goes together because, these cards are all about the gel prints, so we're going to add some more of that one-of-a-kind artistic gel print in there. And then putting the Joy down at the bottom, we'll finish off this card. Got to tuck the foam tape in there because it was being a little unruly around the curves, but so this, I think it turned out really nicely. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I believe we're on to the fourth card, I hope. Love this pattern that I got on the gel print, and then I've backed it onto a red piece of cardstock, and for this one I'm using a white card base, and you'll see why in a moment. So I wanted to use these sentiments pieces, and they have that white border. So this time I'm not going to fight the white border, I'm adding it in. And this print had a little bit of lighter areas, so it worked really well. And these pieces came from the holly came from the October 2020 Dancin Santa kit, and then the other two came from Merry Wishes November 2020. The sentiments, the Christmas joy. And they were just extras. So pull out those kits that you haven't finished up if you want to, you know, make these cards. And if you don't have gel prints, you don't have a gel press, you can totally make these cards with some fun pattern paper that you have in your stash. So definitely join me in this Christmas fun. And that's it for the 4th card. For the 5th card, the showpiece is, of course, the gel print. Look at that. I love how that turned out. But also this die here that cuts out this poinsettia. And that came from November 2019 Christmas Wishes. No, I'm sorry. It came from Merry Wishes. No, what am I? Yeah, no, I think it was from Christmas Wishes. I think that the Jolly Sentiment also came from that set. They have very similar names, the November 2020 and the November 19. It's both wishes. But yeah, the nice thing is you can look on the Spellbinders blog and look it up, those kits, and see mostly what's in them. They don't actually picture all of the die cuts, though, I think. Sometimes they don't include them all. And then I have these extra gemstones, which also came from a Spellbinders kit. I have a couple sheets of them. This one is nearing completion, but I'm using them in a few of the cards today because they're so great with the little bit of the gold accent. And so that's one of the reasons I used my gold paint in these gel prints, was to have that consistent gold in there, a little bit of shimmer, and then also I can pull in sentiments and things with the gold that really go well together. Here's another beautiful background print on a green card base. And again, we're going to use some dies. I have the chipboard, the adhesive chipboard, and glitter paper. The adhesive chipboard is We Are Memory Keepers. And it's adhesive on both sides, which was pretty handy here. So this ornament die came from the Christmas Wishes November 2019 set, but just the center ornament die, and you know, the bauble part and the string. Now these two dies, I do not know where they came from. They have been in my stash, but they're a little smaller, and so I'm laying them out here on the card. This one on the right hand side has an interesting string or hang, so that one I really had to put up higher, so that, because I didn't have any way to extend the string, if you know what I mean, the circles. So that one was like, okay, it has to be on the right and it'll be higher. And so then I'm doing kind of an arrangement from left to right, with the one on the far left being the lowest. And I use the long, narrow string-like die from the Spellbinders kit to extend the hanging part of that ornament on the left. And fortunately, there's just enough that I don't even have to cut it out twice. I can just trim it off and use the excess to hang my middle ornament. And in order to balance the card, you know, because we've got more things hanging lower on the left, there's a perfect amount of room for a sentiment on the right. So yeah, I was loving the glitter paper because that made it really easy. And then this double stick adhesive chipboard was great too, because I can just put it on there and it sticks pretty well. So the bauble part here, I'm going to use liquid glue to add onto that center ornament. And see how I trim off this and I'm able to use that string. I thought I was going to have to cut it twice, but then I realized there's just enough to hang it from the middle. Which is great, because when I'm creating, my desk is a tornado of mess, and so trying to put my die machine back there is quite a challenge. I have to put it on top of it. And you'll see my acrylic block in many shots here helping me out to get things to lay flat. Now this die came, I think, maybe in the set with the other ornaments, but I've cut it out of the chipboard and the glitter paper, but it's really delicate, so pieces have come off. I'm okay with that, but I used the liquid glue because I wasn't sure. I wanted to make sure it stayed put. And that is like I think it's one of the only word dies that I have that's Christmassy. But yeah. Now the 7th card here uses, again, an old Tonic Studios Craft kit, and then one little sentiment from a Spellbinders kit. The Tonic Studios Craft kit is number 11, where I got this die from, and I cut it out of that kind of muted mirror gold. And I'm using a craft card base, but then I have that dark green cardstock on top. So here the liquid glue is very handy because I wanted a little bit of a green border, so I don't know exactly where I need to put down this gold piece, and I have to move it up a little bit, but that white glue will just dry clear, so it works out fine. And the sentiment, Merry, actually came from, again, the October 2020 Dancin Santa kit. So lots of great sentiments in those Spellbinders kits that, you know, especially because they do the gold thing, it worked out really well. The gold thing, they have a lot of gold accents is what I meant to say. But yeah, so I was pulling from all those old, I have 3 Spellbinders Christmassy kits that I was pulling from for sentiments and things like that, just to finish off the card. And I'm going to put it up on mounting tape here. And this is actually a pretty simple card when it comes down to it, but I really like it. So that finishes off card number 7. Card number 8, again, is... isn't this just a beautiful print? This was the grungy one that I got by just using the transparent gold to pick up what was on the plate. Love it. So I'm finishing off this card with some dies from the Tonic Studios Craft Kit number 23, the bow, branch, and the piece of holly. And I have this kind of shimmery dark green paper, which I only had a couple tiny scraps of, so you might notice that my branches aren't fully die cut out, which was okay because I was going to have the meat in the center, and so then there's some excess to trim off. So yeah, and if you didn't have a branchy die like this, you could easily use a nice strip of gold card or even just a coordinating pattern paper. You just don't want it to be too big because really the showpiece is the gel print there, but it's nice to have something to ground the focal point. And for the focal point on this card, it's just the gold bow and then some holly branches, which also came in that same Tonic Studios Craft kit. But those, you know, I'm just using what I have, my stash, and there's that die, and I have to find, I don't know, I misplaced that little holly die, because, again, tornado when creating, so hopefully I can find it, because it is MIA right now, and again, yes, I'm still creating, because I have to do all this editing and stuff, so I haven't cleaned up my desk yet. So I trimmed off a little extra piece there, and it's not a perfect meeting of the branch, but that's okay, because I'm covering up a little bit here with these holly branches, which I just cut in a kind of a coordinating dark green color. And, you know, I don't want them to take too much of the eye notice. They're just kind of an accent, a helper, to draw the eye in towards the bow and just, you know, really accent the gel print, which I think is the star of the show for this card. So, yep, the acrylic block is helping me a lot, and that is it for this card. Really love that gel print and how it turns out. For the 9th card, I believe we're on the 9th card. Yes, I have put together this, I'm cutting through the card base and the gel print with this Christmas die, a Christmas tree die that I had from somewhere, who knows. Now, and then I'm going to put the tree back in, but this is, I want something a little different, so I pull in my scraps, and I found this one that has just a little splash of gold at the top, which was perfect, because I was going to bring in those star dies you see there, but I didn't need to, because I placed the tree die right over, and so it has the gold star just naturally occurring there, and I really love how that turned out. And then just enough difference without too much. It's simple enough to not be too busy, because the original gel print background is pretty busy. I really like how that turned out. And just to finish off this card, I'm going to use this sentiment from the October 2020 Dancin Santa kit that I had left over. So it says Merry Christmas, little banner, beautiful color that coordinates pretty well, and it's got the gold. And the gel print has smatterings of the gold coming through, so they all play nicely together. And I believe my card base is kind of an off-white, like a cream. And I just have a very scant border there. So for the final card, the 10th card, I'm using some dies from, again, Tonic Studios Craft Kit number 11. And then this is that same grungy print die with the transparent gold that I picked it up. This time I have it on some fun foam, and I've used that curvy die that comes in the Tonic Studios kit to trim the bottom there through both the print and the foam layers. And then I have this kind of holly die. Now, I have a bit of footage missing because I had some problems because I didn't realize that it just cuts out the inner part, and so you have to use the curvy die to cut out the edge, so I had to go back and do that, and I glue the mirror card underneath onto the gel print. Works out all right. And unfortunately my acrylic block was sticky from some glue, and it ripped up some of my gel print you see there. So this card is me scrambling. I picked this Season's Greetings. I think that's from the Dancin Santa again. And I cover that up. And then I'm like, oh, what do I do with this little spot? So I found these holly leaves from November 2020 Merry Wishes kit Spellbinders, and they have that white border, but it's just too much. Now, the background in my gel print is actually a translucent gold acrylic, but this antique linen really, really works well, and so it just takes that white off. So I did that with the brush and made it work, and yeah, I really liked how that turned out. I could have fussy cut them out. I didn't want to do that. I really think this worked a lot better. And then I'm pulling those gemstones again for some holly berries and spare you the fumbling butter fingers. Well, you get to see a little bit of it right here, but man, I dropped those things so many times, and these are older ones, so their original adhesive wasn't really there, but finally I got them on and held them down with the acrylic block, and that finishes off the final card. So I hope you find some inspiration. I'm going to show you these cards again slowly, and it inspires you to get creating. And if you have a gel press or a jelly plate, get that out. It's so much fun. It's a lot of mess, a little bit of cleanup afterwards, or if you have some gel prints you haven't done anything with, have a look, see if they'll work for this. So for my gel printing, I actually did it thinking of Christmas cards, and I think it worked out really well. But yeah, go back through the stash and maybe use some of these layouts. It's really fun. And I'm excited that I already have 10 Christmas cards, and I have a pile more to do. So if I have time, I'll try to get another one out before it's too close to Christmas. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Thanks again for watching. Bye!